This is the ZC Show,
the podcast that doesn't deserve an intro.
Here's your host, Zach Clark.
What up, y'all? It is always great to be with you. ZC Show. You can catch us Wednesday evenings, YouTube, Twitch. We're live there. And then Thursday morning on your favorite podcast platform. That is the schedule. That is how it works. We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions. We're getting some dust settling when it comes to free agency. How do we feel? How do you feel? I don't feel great. I don't feel bad. But I have a mixed range of emotions when it comes to the Detroit Lions. How about the Red Wings? I mean, good God. We talked over the last couple of weeks about my concern for the way they've played in the month of March over the last couple of seasons. And here we are again. So I'm going to ask you a very important question in a few minutes, all right? Look, we have to decide what we want and what we're going to put up with. Not that it matters. We control nothing. But I'm curious, what will you put up with? How much more or how much less? Are you worried about the Pistons? Like a little bit, maybe? I am and I'm not. Short term, no. Long term, And I'm going to opine my love for championship week. That'll be at the end. I'm still a big college basketball guy. I don't care how many of you are, that sport is ruined and the conferences are too big. And just stop watching. Don't tell me that. Just stop watching. That'll be later. Anyway, I want to congratulate the United States, yes, on winning Pool B. Yes. Oh, Dak, I thought that the Italians won the group. No, they didn't. I mean, they did, but let me ask you a question. How many Americans do you think are on the Italian roster? You should think the answer would be very low. 5, 10. The answer is 27. 27 out of 30 players on Team Italy are Americans. Oh, where's the espresso? Says Vinny Pasquantino. It's at Starbucks. You're an American. Like this is why I can't take the WBC seriously. The Americans are going to play Canada next. They only have 5 Americans. Super. Like, what's the point here? What is this is about the World Baseball Classic? Yes, go Italy with only 3 Italians on the team. The other guys, like I said before, what did I say? That the Italian team is just a bunch of dudes from Staten Island? I was correct. Or maybe it's Long Island. Take your pick. This is why, again, it's just struggle city for me. What are we representing? You know, the people that complain about college basketball and college football being, I can't follow it, everything's too weird, none of this makes any sense. You watch this? I can't. I mean, I can. I like baseball. I like watching Tarek Skubal pitch or, Aaron Judge rake. That's all sweet. But Tarek Skubal's not pitching again, and this is not a world competition. It is a competition of the Americas. That's what this is. To call anything else is stupid. I mean, of course the Italians were pumped when they beat the Americans. It was a bunch of dudes who were not good enough to make the USA roster who beat the USA roster, right? That's what that was for them. It was redemption. Michael Lorenzen was the starting pitcher for the Italians in that game. They have Aaron Nola. I saw him pitch in college. Again, I'm all about international competition. World Cup coming up. I'm not a soccer guy. Am I going to watch it? Oh, God, I'm going to be all over it. I'm going to be all over it. The Olympics, yes. I'll root for the Americans in anything. Any sport, you pick it. I thought the Four Nations tournament, I was very skeptical. I thought that was going to be stupid. Sick. Awesome. Loved it. This one, I'll say it one more time, then I'll stop saying it. There are too many obstacles for this to be successful. I mean, Major League Baseball is one of them, right? That these guys, we're almost about to start the season. You can't do it in season unless they agree to a break. You can't do it out of season, so you got to do it right now. And right now is not good either. So the Americans have Canada next, and then a likely game against the Dominican Republic in the semis. And then if they win that game, likely it would be Japan in the finals again. Am I watching that? No, not this weekend. No, honey, I'm not. I can't. I can't. There are conference tournament championships all over the place. Pistons, Red Wings, and one of my very favorite things, I watch so much golf, the Players' Championship is this weekend. Plus, Sunday's the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Detroit. You think I'm going to make time for the World Baseball Classic? I'm not. If I'm flipping through, I watched a little bit last night. Not much. I watched a little bit of the USA-Italy game the other night. Not much. It is what it is. I shouldn't hate on it so much, but it's never going to capture my attention until things change. And I don't think things are going to change because there's really no way for it to change. Oh my God, what a great transition. Zach, pat yourself on the back. Speaking of change, the dust is settling around the Detroit Lions. Right? Free agency is, you're listening to this on Thursday, free agency is in full swing. The Lions have made plenty of moves. They've restructured Jared Goff's contract. And as you can see, when it comes to the departures, people say, oh, the cap's not real. Yes, it is. It is real on days like the first few days of free agency. You get your high-end guys, you can keep them, and the Lions have done that. But it means you're going to lose a lot of depth, and that is exactly what has happened. Anzalone, Montgomery, Raymond, Robertson, Lopez. I mean, even Kyle Allen. You hope a guy like Kyle Allen never plays, but he was a super reliable backup. I mean, the Taylor Decker thing we've talked about. I still am very confused as to exactly what happened. He was either asked to take a pay cut or a play cut or both and said no, which, okay. But it's like, didn't they have a conversation ahead of time? Or did he just spring like, hey, I'm coming back. What's up, guys? And they're like, oh, this is awkward. We thought you were going to retire. Oh, hey, guys, cool. Did you see Taylor's back? Yay, Taylor. You're cut. There was no conversation between that Instagram post and him asking for his release or before that. It's like with the Max Crosby trade. What do you mean he failed the physical? Did Oakland not give him a physical first? Don't you want to know? Were you trying to sneak it by him in Baltimore? What do you mean? How do these things happen? Where is the conversation? Where is the communication? Anyway, the Montgomery trade, we had expected. Losing Anzalone, not a big surprise. Khalif Raymond, I didn't think they'd bring him back either. I really didn't. I had hoped they would be able to find room for Amik, Roy, and Kyle. They could not. So those are the departures. Now, they were able to fix some of that, right? You add Larry Borum, you add Cade Mays. I like the Cade Mays signing. Relatively inexpensive. And he should be able to add depth immediately and fill that void. I mean, to be honest, fill that void that Taylor Decker left, or excuse me, Frank Ragnow left a couple of years ago. It was never filled last year. They just had a guy playing center. But it's not the guy they wanted to be playing center. It's just the way it worked out. Now that guy's gone too. They cut Glasgow. So adding the two offensive linemen, excellent. I love Teddy Bridgewater coming back. Give me some Teddy H2O all day long. Big fan, right? The Isaiah Pacheco signing is interesting. I mean, so interesting. The dude is an absolute monster. He runs with the anger of 10,000 suns or the fire of 10,000 suns, whatever it is. Violent. Lions love guys like that. But that that injury he had a couple years ago, I mean, he broke his leg. It was horrible, and his production has dipped considerably. I mean, he was replaced, right, with Kenneth Walker. As soon as they signed Kenneth Walker, Pacheco was out. But now he'll be more than a full season removed, almost two, from that injury. And he's only, 27? He's younger than David Montgomery. So there is a chance that the Lions have either struck gold there or they've just gotten a guy that can carry the ball a few times and is a good blocker, which, I mean, in reality is what they want. That's what the Lions are after there. There was definitely, and this had to be this way, there was definitely, as I mentioned, the priority on the offensive line. But the problem is there were too many holes to fill in reality in free agency. So now what? Do they draft a guy like Caden Proctor in the first round? God, I love him. We've talked about him before. From Alabama. Do they look at Utah's Spencer Fano? Those guys are day one picks. But then you say to yourself, okay, well, what about the defensive line, Zach? They're solid up the middle. I don't have any question about them up the middle. But they only have, they don't have a second starting edge rusher. That is a problem. Nothing. Even if they re-sign Quan, you've got nothing behind him. Do I hope they re-sign Al-Qadim Muhammad? Yeah, I do. I like him a lot. And I think they got a lot of production out of him last year at a good value. His price tag will go up. But if they can get him at the right price, I think he's worth it. They cut Pascal. That doesn't bother me. But again, there's no depth anymore. There's nothing at defensive end. They have Aiden Hutchinson alone. Can he play both at the same time? He's about to have to. It's like that cartoon, the Bugs Bunny cartoon, where he was all the players. First base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny. Third base, Bugs Bunny. That's what the Lions are looking at here on the defensive end. I mean, Max Crosby. We talked about it a second ago. What a bizarre situation. It seems like he's going to stay with the Raiders, which, okay, I guess. And his trade value is probably diminished for a couple of reasons. But he still carries the same price tag. I mean, you want to restructure Penei Sewell? Eventually, you're going to put yourself in a huge hole if you keep doing this. The restructuring thing is nice now, but you're borrowing against your future. You got to think about it that way. It's like if you have a 401k and you take money out of it. Yeah, I mean, it's your money, but it's your future that is going to suffer or will be altered as a result. And the same thing is true here. So the Max Crosby thing, it's too much. It's like $30 million. Do you sign a guy like Hassan Reddick? What about Joey Bosa? He's only 30, but his injury history is atrocious. But if you get Joey Bosa and he ends up being somewhat productive, I mean, you talk about technical players. Bosa and Hutch would be a formidable tandem if the first one can stay healthy. And we just haven't seen that lately. But at the right price, maybe he's worth it. And you say, well, what about the draft? Okay, you could take a TJ Parker from Clemson or Akeem Mesidor from Miami. We've talked about Mesidor a few times. I like him a lot. Those are day one picks. But look, I just mentioned that you have a high priority on the offensive line too. And the Lions don't have a second round pick, I don't believe. Well, they don't have a third round pick. They're missing one of the early middle round picks. My point is, I'm not sure how, if you wanted to draft a Caden Proctor and an Akeem Mesidor, let's say, I don't know if you have the capital to do that without trading away a pick, more picks in the future. Again, barring against your success in the future or your ability to succeed in the future. All of these things have cost today, and they all have cost tomorrow. I'm okay with a tomorrow cost if the today is worth it. I'll take the Detroit Tigers as an example. The Miguel Cabrera deal, the way it was structured at the end, was atrocious. It was a leg weight for the Tigers. But their thought was, hey, if we can win a World Series, it'll be worth it. And it was worth it if they would have won a World Series. They didn't. It wasn't his fault, but that became an albatross at the end, and there was no World Series to show for it. That's very difficult. And the Lions are starting to walk themselves into this area. So how can they address both offensive and defensive lines? And I haven't even mentioned the secondary. I mean, you lost to Meek. Who knows what's up with Kirby and Brian? I mean, Kirby's question mark is huge. And with Brian Branch, that Achilles is a nasty, nasty injury. I mean, how explosive will he be coming off of that? You don't know. Can you count on Ennis Rakestraw? At this point, they're banking on him. Not sure I love that. I mean, yes, they re-signed Rocky Sin, which that would, to me, is that a top priority? I mean, kind of, as far as your re-signs go. The Lions didn't have a ton of big names heading into free agency, but I loved Rocky Sin. Now, do I want him to be like number 1 or number 2 guy? No. But as far as like high-end depth goes and a culture fit, big Rock fan. I was glad they got him back. I mean, Malcolm Rodriguez. They re-signed Jake Bates. He was inconsistent last year, but, you know, he was one of many Lions that were inconsistent last year. So I'm not sure. Brad Holmes still has a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. And I don't know how he's going to do it. There are obvious needs in 3 areas. I'm not angry. I'm not like, oh, this team sucks, or you know, they're just sitting on their hands. I mean, they're not doing those things. And there was no big swing. But again, the Lions don't have the capital for a big swing. They just don't. Do something. I mean, the salary cap is real. I hate salary cap. You can do whatever. You can manipulate. Blah, blah, blah. For a while. Again, it's just like your credit. You can fuck with it for a while, but not forever. It'll catch up to you. It always does. I would like the Lions to avoid that. Do I want them to win now? Yes. Do I think they should be more aggressive? I think they should have in the past. Yes. But now you've begun to accrue larger and larger and larger contracts. You have to be more careful every time you do that. I'm not thrilled with the way things sit currently. There's still time. It's March 12th. There's more free agency. The draft is still there. But I don't know. I'm unsettled. It felt like, I think part of it is, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it felt like the Lions were on this long path to sustained success because it felt like that. It looked like that. I'm not saying that it's not there, but they missed the playoffs, so that sustained thing takes a little bit of a hit. And now I'm unsure. Do I think overall the Lions are going to be a good team next year? I do. But I'm unsettled at the moment. It's like it's because it's March 12th. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's talk Red Wings. And, you know, we have to ask ourselves, I forgot the Lions one, didn't I?
Detroit.
And that's the Pistons one. Who is running this show? Oh, it's me. Oh, right. Sorry. What if the Detroit Red Wings miss the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, entering the month of March as a playoff team? What if? Detroit is 3-1 since the Olympic break. 3-1. They've lost twice to a terrible Panthers team in 5 days. They can't score, and when they do, they can't hold a lead. These blown leads, I mean, the Panthers loss was just, the Panthers suck, and they know it. I mean, look, they've been excellent, but they are not excellent this year. They're not. But they were good enough to beat the Red Wings twice in 5 days. So here's the thing. If the Red Wings miss the playoffs, I'm not saying they're going to, but if, it likely means they were leapfrogged by a younger and faster roster that began their rebuild after Detroit did. You're being leapfrogged. The Buffalo Sabres have finally awakened. Oh, look, we understand how to play hockey now. It's a thing with ice and sticks. I mean, they lead the Atlantic. Montreal, as they say, and Ottawa are no longer like your easy out. The Red Wings aren't bad, but the progression is just so slow. It's so slow. It's killing me. I am not a patient man. I never have been. I never will be. I don't want to be. I don't want to be patient. Oh, be patient. Why? So people can waste time? No. I want to be urgent. Life is urgent. It is short. Things happen quickly. And this is why everybody hates me. And I don't care. Everything is urgent. I want to win now. I know we were talking about the Lions and patience, but we're in year 7 of the Iser plan. My son was 3 when this started. He's about to be 10. In fact, a few days from now. Crazy. And I understand that Stevie Y made a sizable deadline move acquiring Falk. I mean, Perron is what it is. But again, this is year 7. They made the playoffs nonce. 0 times. Now, I just mentioned Montreal. Throw in Boston to the mix. Those are the Wings' next 2 games, head-to-head in 10 days, in a 10-day span. Those are not 2-point games. Those are 4-point games. You cannot afford to not get points, and you certainly can't afford to give up points to your chasers. I mean, this is it. I'm not saying the season's going to be determined in the next 10 days, but it very well could be. I love Steve Yzerman. I was born in the year of our Lord, 1985, and I grew up watching the Red Wings absolutely dominate. And he was a huge part of that. He was the captain, the youngest captain, one of the most tenured captains in NHL history. Steve Yzerman, 19. He was him. Everything to me as a kid. I love Steve Yzerman as a player. Steve Yzerman, 19, the captain, Stevie Y, as a player. As a GM, this has been unsettling, frustrating. I always give guys credit, though, that are willing to put themselves on the line in career number 2. Like Alan Trammell. I was born in 85, so I missed the 84 World Series, but my dad didn't. So I grew up hearing all about Sweet Lou and Alan Trammell and the 84 Tigers. And I saw Alan Trammell play a little bit, but I don't remember much of that, obviously. But he came to Detroit as the manager, and what happened? They set the record for most losses in a single season. Or look at sorry, I had a freeze there. Look at Juwan Howard. I almost called him Jalen Howard. I'm like, what is going on here? Look at Juwan. I swear I had like a mental block. Like I locked out. Anyway, I'm alive. Juwan Howard, same thing. Fab Five legend. And he was one of the more likable guys. Comes back and is a total asshole at Michigan. Doesn't win enough games. I mean, there was a moment there, but I think it was just him running on Beeline's fumes. And it's a disaster. And now he's persona non grata. Not Dusty Mays, though. So I give guys credit Jim Harbaugh eventually got back to the mountaintop at Michigan, but he's just such a loser that it doesn't matter. I always give guys credit for being willing to come back and sacrifice reputation for a shot at glory a second time. but it doesn't always work. So you, as Red Wings fans, I want to know, when is enough enough? Because for the management, for the Red Wings, for the Ilitches, maybe this is enough for them. Christopher Ilitch will never be his father, ever. So maybe this is enough. I've noticed that and this has changed a bit with the Yankees, but it seems the children of the rich people have no balls. Mike Ilitch and Hank Steinbrenner would spend money like crazy. Spend. George Steinbrenner. I'm having a hard time here with names. I'm having a stroke. Is that burnt toast I smell? But the original Steinbrenner, the original Ilitch, they spent money like water. It didn't even matter. Their children, now it's changed with the Yankees, with Hal. They've begun to spend the money. It took them a minute, but they've begun to spend the money. Christopher Ilitch is never going to spend the money. He wants the money for himself. He didn't earn the money originally. So what he cares about is just having more and more and more of it. Maybe for the Red Wings, internally, their success from the ownership box is not determined by wins and losses, but by profitability. That's a scary thought, but we have no control of that. But I'll tell you what, I've had enough of this. If they don't make the playoffs this year, there's got to be a hard look in the mirror for everybody. Let me give you a number. Between 1990 and 2016, the Detroit Red Wings played in 331 playoff games. 331 playoff games. They won the Stanley Cup 4 times. Since then, they've played in no playoff games since 2016. They've not won more than one playoff series since 2009. These are all horrendous droughts. And a lot of these numbers are longest or worst, depending on where you want to put them, in the NHL at the moment. It's brutal. If you'd have told 10-year-old Zach in 1995 or in 97, better yet, after they won the Stanley Cup, that the Wings would go through this drought, I'd laugh at you. And then probably try to give you a wet willy or something. But this is where we are. It's all unacceptable. It is all unacceptable. Is it all Steve Yzerman's fault? Probably not. But he's the guy in charge. The buck stops here, right? Can't fire the Ilitches, sadly. They'll build you a parking lot, though. Those are fun. Yeah, hey, you know what would look great down here? A big-ass piece of asphalt. But hey, no, we'll decorate it with some yellow lines. God, I wish I was rich. Let's see if I hit the right button this time.
Detroit
Yes!
basketball.
Success. Moron. Anyway, Pistons. We were talking about the Red Wings being unsettling. The Pistons 4-game slump there a minute ago was also unsettling. I understand things like that are going to happen, right? But never should one of those things that will happen be blowing a 23-point lead to the awful Brooklyn Nets. That game was ugly. Now, that said, they came back a couple nights ago where they beat them by 38, but they should have done that the first time. They should beat a team like Brooklyn by 20, at least. Brooklyn sucks. Detroit rules. Easy. While teams like Boston are getting healthier, right? Detroit's getting hampered a bit by the injury bug. And they had to go 7 games without Stewart. Not an injury, I know, but still 7 games without him. Cade's been banged up. He's missed a game or 2 down the stretch lately. And now it sounds like Asar Thompson's going to be out for weeks. I don't know how many. And so now what you have, I like Marcus Sasser as a bench player, and I love his ability to shoot. But the Pistons are so good defensively, and you don't get the same level of defense with Marcus Sasser as you do with Asar Thompson. That's obvious. Better shooter, not as good of a defender. And it's not the kind of switch the Pistons would prefer. But again, not a bad bench player at all. And some of this comes back to the Pistons being too passive at the deadline. It doesn't. I don't want to talk too much about it because it just becomes harping, and it doesn't matter, right? Because it's over. But I wish that one of the general managers in this town had some fire. It seems like everybody else has the wait and see attitude. And I just told you a minute ago that being patient is for losers, and I never will be. So I don't vibe with that. But also, I would be the guy that would risk all the assets all the time. All the chips in the middle, all at once, forever. That's why I'm here and not there, wherever I am and wherever they are. Pistons tonight, 76ers. They're not a great team. Detroit's at home. Got to have a win here. Got to have a win here. They're going to win the division, but I don't want them to be caught by Boston. The Pistons need to be the best team in the East. They need home court throughout. Because Oklahoma City, I mean, you look at SGA, the way he's playing, good Lord. Good Lord. So I had a little college basketball here quickly. And, I'm not sure for the locals here, it matters too much at the moment, championship week. Michigan is going to be a 1 seed no matter what. I think Michigan State's likely locked into a 2 seed no matter what. I'm not sure how much more there is to prove for either one of them or to gain or lose for either one of them. I know a lot of people like shit on college sports right now because of the NIL changes or because of the conference realignment, and it is weird. People are like, I can't believe this kid wasn't here last year. And then they'll watch the NFL where there's been like 400 free agency signings. Right? Like, is anybody going to be like, hey, man, this Lions game is bullshit. I didn't see Isaiah Pacheco here last year. No, nobody's going to say that because it's normal. Well, this is normal now, too. I mean, and really, my biggest annoyance is like the people that have to loudly keep saying how much they hate it. Great. You hate it. Shut up then. You don't have to keep announcing how much you think this is terrible. It's become like a personality for some sports people. Yeah, look at how much I hate college sports now because it's not the way that it used to be. Okay. You go sit in the corner there and dribble your ball elsewhere. I still love college football and college basketball. I always will. I always will, especially college basketball. Now, part of that is because I went to the University of Arizona where college basketball is king and they are awesome. It helps. I think my favorite part about championship week, though, is I can watch basketball during the day. I work at home. You can see me right now at home if you're watching on the YouTube or Twitch. So I can always watch whatever I want at any point in time. I mean, yeah, I'm working. If my boss asked, maybe, But like, for example, on Thursdays and Fridays, like today it's when you're listening to this, it's Thursday. You know how much golf I'm going to watch today? Oh my God. I'm going to watch the players forever. That's all I'm going to do today and work. But there's also college basketball on. In fact, my Arizona Wildcats play at 3. So, I mean, the amount of day sports I'm going to have today, I'm going to be exhausted by the time it's time to clock out. I probably watch 6 to 8 hours of golf a day on Thursday and Friday. I'm not glued to the television, but I mean, it's in my periph, as the kids say, maybe. It's heaven. College basketball, golf, I mean, the Olympics, upcoming World Cup. I love it. All that stuff during the day. And also, for most of these teams that are going to play this week, that are playing this week, March Madness is already here. You have to win this tournament, whatever your tournament is, to go on to the next. It's like that for, 80% of the tournaments out there. And then for the tournaments that have non-auto bids, right? There's still half those conference teams have to win to get in. It's thrilling. I mean, for example, I was super bummed the other night when U of D lost to Wright State. They just crumbled. crumbled. They've been to the tournament in at least 10 years. And I mean, they were by 11. Oh. I thought, yes. And they played Wright State close both times. They split, lost by 2, won the other. But I love the energy that flows through the month of March when it comes to college basketball. And certainly, again, part of it's because I can sit at home and watch it. But I don't know. I just, there's nothing to me more romantic from a sports standpoint than the NCAA tournament when it comes to basketball, men's or women's. What you have to do to get through it and what it means for those that do, it is just, there's nothing like it, in my opinion. And I love a lot of college sports. Like I'll watch college baseball. I'll watch college softball. Those are fun too. But nothing for me tops college basketball. It's the best. It is just the best. Fighting for your lives every second. And I can watch games from 11:30 until 1 a.m. Sign me up. Sold. Done. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for this episode of the ZC Show. Please like and rate, review the show. You say, Zach, this show blows. Tell me about it. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm not in charge. Oh, I am in charge. Oh, whoops. Remember, you can find us on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, Twitch and YouTube, and always on your favorite podcast platform. I'm Zach Clark. Great to be with you. We'll see you next week. Peace.